Right, so before I show you the levelling, let's have a recap over what we've actually done from the beginning. We came in, we round up the existing lawn, left it for 2 to 3 weeks to die. Then we removed the turf, we hired the turf cutter, removed it, had it grab wagon taken away. Then we did the battening around the edges with the tannalised timbers, and then we brought in 15 tonne of root zone, and then we did a bit of a level with our foot, just kicking it about, and then it absolutely hammered it down for 3 weeks, and it all washed off and everything. So join me now as I show you how to level the lawn using a very old-fashioned technique that I learned at Myerscough College. So enjoy the video, and I'm going to join you now by transportation. Oh, bloody hell, how did that happen? Anyway, it did happen, and I'm fine, I think. Right, so I'm going to take these pieces of wood here, which I've got, and I've put a blue line all the way around at 8 inches. I've left enough room to hammer it into the soil, which I've already got, and then into the underneath soil so it doesn't fall over. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to put one of these here, a metre. Just going to do it in metres. Then I know where I am. So I'll put that first one here. Now I said this is a trick we learned at Myerscough College to do our levels. So I'm just going to hammer that one there. I'm just going to leave it slightly proud, just because I do want a bit of a camber. So I'm just going to leave it slightly proud over there. And then it's not for forever. It's just to give us a guide. It's not going to be got to be that. It's just to give us a guide to know where we're high and where we're low. So you get that one in. That's your datum point. So we then measure a metre this way. Just put this in there. And a metre this way, which is there. Right. So I get another one and hammer that in just a little bit. Right, and you've got to see where you are now. So you put this one on, like that, put a straight edge on, and we're out. So, and we can tell that anyway, you're not stupid. But it's just all for effect. So when this is level, we know that our blue lines marry up. So that is level. So that there is where we need to whip from to there. So from there to there is level, and from there to there is level. So we know. So that's what. And then what we'll do is, what you can do is, there's 2 ways you can do things. You can then just put your piece of wood across there and create the height there, and you know that that's more or less level, because you can't see under it, and you can't see under it here, so it's not high and it's not low. So that's spot on. It's a bit low over there, so we can tuck that in, and then we can do it from there to there, and that's about right. And then if I had a longer piece of wood, which I can get, we can do a line from here to over here, and then that'll tell us if we're rocking or we need to, so we can then screed it if we need to. It's very dusty because it's dry, so it's not ideal, but there's not much I could do really. So it's a bit, when I drag some of the soil over, it should lift up some of the underneath. It's quite wet underneath, it's just that top layer's pretty dry. So what we'll do is, it's not on there, you know, you can see that it's not quite up to the edge, because it's like so dusty over there like that. Then what you could do is something that I didn't do at college, but I thought of it. You could put a piece of wood across there like that to there, and then you know that's level. It's touching there, and it's on line with our blue line, and we know that is level over there. We could then get a piece of wood, cut out the nodule of this profile, but not over there because we don't need to, and run a plank of wood all the way down, and we know this is a straight edge off that, and we know that the piece of wood would go under there. I'll try and show you actually. Just let me go and get a piece of wood. Back again, transport it in. So what I've done now is I've cut that wedge out of there, which is the side profile of that. So then put that piece of wood there, so it's flush with that piece of wood there, and then we can put that on that edge, drop that on there, and then we know that if we screed this, that is our finished level. So we just need to put a bit of soil there, like that, and then drag it across, and that will give us our perfect just need to drop a bit in actually.
Or you can just get a rake.
Right, so I'm going to get my rake, and what we're going to do is we're just going to rake it, because you know that these are our finished levels, so we can just, it's not, like I say, it's not really accurate, but it's accurate enough to give us that where we need to be. And then, like I say, we'll get our piece of wood in a sec. And we'll just graze on it like that. There's a bit more there, isn't it? Big rake for this. Should do small bits really. It would be too far apart. Need some water on it now. Yeah, that's how you would level in the old days. So what I'll do is I'll do my next one and see if we can do it better. Just let me move the camera a little bit. It's hard work on my own because I can't, I'm just trying to do everything and I'm failing massively. So what we can do is we can get our piece of wood again, and we take another one of our sticks that we know is 8 inches from there to there, put it on like that. Obviously that's too high, so we'll do another metre. Where's my tape gone? There, like that, tape there. Yeah. Start to hammer this one in. Until you think you're about right. You have to pull it up. You have to pull it up, don't you? Go like that. Get our spirit level. So it's slightly high over there, so we can just make that seam, and then we can drag some right. That's about right. A bit more. Perfect. And then the same thing again. Do all this rubbish. And then we can, again, use some of this wetter stuff over here. Right there. As hopefully I'll get the seedings inside as well. Because it's so dry, it's like collapsing. So, here we go. Hopefully that gives you some insight how to level along the old-fashioned way. Right, it's getting late, but I think we can do it. I've just done a video of me levelling over there, but I think it's going to be embarrassing, so I might not even post it, because I just couldn't do it on my own, really. So I'll try and edit it best I can, but yeah, I'll probably lose all my subscribers if I post that one. Not because what I was doing was wrong, it just was rubbish. So we'll have a go at that later. But what I want to do now is concentrate on getting this seeded while the wind's dropped, because it's been windy all day and we've not been able to do it, but we've got another 3 hours or so daylight yet, I like to think. But we're almost there, we're almost ready. So I just want to clean up the wooden edges and brush that back a little bit, but I want to get some water on it. But the homeowner's just bathing his lad and there's nobody else in, so I can't get any connections from my hose. I've got everything I need, just not got the end bit which I need. But what I want to also do is, whilst it's like this, I want to put a wetting agent on. What this will do is wet all that dust nice so the water can get through it and actually drain through rather than just beading, so the dust just beads to the bead of water. And secondly, any further water that goes on will stop us getting algae, because what if I cover this over with seed and water heavily, algae will grow within 2 or 3 days. Whereas the new thinking is that a wetting agent can get that water away from the surface, you won't get algae. So we're going to give that a go and see what happens. And what we're doing is totally fine. You can put a wetting agent on the sand now, it's there, it'll do a job, so don't worry about that. It's not just for putting it on grass. I actually saw a golf thing putting it on, what did they put it on now, a bunker. So that probably is the reason they're putting it on there, to get the water through so they don't get the moss growing on the sand. So we're going to do that and give it a go. So I'm going to go and get my sprayer, get the wetting agent and spray it on. I'll set it up time lapse so you can see it going on, and then hopefully we'll get some hose pipe bits and I can just give this a bit of a wash through, and then it's sticky for when the seed goes on, because one thing that isn't good is seed going in dust, because it just gets dragged everywhere. Whereas when I put it on, I want it to stick, because I really don't want to move that soil too much, because you end up with dragging the seed and it starts growing in lines, as you can see where you raked. So we're going to be really careful here. So let's get it done. Right, so we're just about to seed. Here we have our seed, MM50, 100% dwarf rye. This is the seed they use at Wimbledon. So it's fitting, because the customer plays tennis, she'll have centre court in her back garden. Why do I use dwarf rye? Because it's easy. Fescues and bents are for professional greenkeepers. I am not one of those. I am just lawns. Fescues and bents need full-time care. I just can't offer that. I don't know how to do it. I've never worked with them really, other than in turf, and they're hard work because they just, fescues reproduce all the time, day in, day out, die back, grow more, die back, grow more, and that needs removing all the time. So if you're an amateur out there wanting the best lawn, don't go down the fescue or bent route. The disease resistance is poor, they need a lot of care, they get thatch very quickly and you end up with a sponge. So dwarf rye, you don't get any of that. Your thatch layer is very slow to grow and it's just really versatile. You can get it as fine as a fescue leaf with these dwarf ryes. These new dwarf ryes are really slender. Yeah, the rooting mass isn't as good, but it's good enough for what we need it for. Bent's the same. You know, they're great root mass, and they put them in the turf farms in their mixtures because it helps with the root mass. So when they harvest, they can, the turf doesn't fall to bits. They can't grow 100% ryegrass on the turf farms because it would just fall to bits. So that's why there's always bents or fescues in a turf mix or smooth stalk meadowgrass, because these offer great roots, whereas the ryegrass doesn't. As you can see, like in the football stadiums, if they don't have the Deso or the Cis pitches, it just cuts up really easy because it doesn't root very well. And in those environments, they're trying to get a 9-inch root off a plant that only grows roots relative to what its height is. So if you've got an inch plant, then all it needs is an inch root. So the minute you've got an inch high plant and you want a 9-inch root, it's just not gonna anchor into the ground. So stay away from fescues, stick to ryegrass, and you can't go wrong. It's easy to germinate, it's easy to look after, easy to regenerate, it's got great durability. But like getting back to what I said about the slender leaf, you can versatile it, you can cut it down to 8mm like they do at Wimbledon, or you can leave it as high as 30mm. This seed they actually use at the new Boston United Stadium. I'm not sure why they would use it there, but they obviously felt a need for that. I wouldn't have thought they'd ever use a dwarf rye in a football stadium, but they did. I obviously thought they would have gone for a full rye, like as in the Johnson's Premier pitch, or I don't really know any of this because that's the only one I've ever used. Maybe like Masterline Pro 79, that's a stadium mix. I'm on the bag of that, by the way, if you're interested. One of my photos, yeah, around the world, global I am. So that's a brief introduction to ryegrass. It's the only seed for you, it's the only seed for me, and you don't get that the stripe colour like I get on my jobs with fescues or bents. That is a ryegrass stripe because it's a really broad leaf and it's reflecting more sunlight back, whereas a fescue is like hair thin, so you're not going to get any light reflecting back, and that's why fescues or bents don't stripe the same. So that's it. I'm running out of time because I want to get this on. The wind's dropped, so I'm going to get my spreader. My spreader holds 5 kilos. I know that just from previous times, so I'm going to get on there because I know that's 100 square meters. So I'm going to go on at 50 grams a square meter, and then that should give us a good coverage, and then there's plenty left. If I need to just go over a bit in a few weeks, we can do because we've got it there. And yeah, let's get it on. Excited, we're going somewhere finally. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so I've just done the seed. I was filming it, but my battery ran out on my phone, so I'm now on my GoPro, so I haven't got a clue what quality it'll be, but it's been pretty good up to now. It just looks weird on the screen because it's dead small. It's absolutely tiny. It's like a postage stamp. So I've just been over that. 50 grams per square meter, but I just ran out. I just wanted to do a little bit more, so I just put a little bit more in. Won't do any harm, won't do it any good, but won't do any harm. We'll do it good. It'll just get extra grass there. So it's looking really good. So I'm just going to go over with my rake now, give it its final level, water, and then I'll get my seeds on. Not my seeds, my sheets. It's getting on for 8 o'clock and I've been out since 8, getting tired, but these are things we do to get the job done. And then it's this time next week, I reckon we'll have some green shoots with this weather we've got at the minute, so I'm really excited. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, now I'm just about to start sheeting, so I've watered where I'm going to be putting the sheet, and then I'll sheet, and then I'll water where I need to sheet, and do it that way, and then I can go over the lawn with the hose without messing it up. Watered by hand. Do not, under any circumstance, put a sprinkler on at this time, because I can't help you if you're going to do that, because it's just suicide. It'll just, too much water in one area in a too short a space of time, your seed just runs off, and then you're emailing me going, oh, how am I going to get rid of all these patches, why is it so patchy? Because you didn't listen. So listen carefully. No sprinklers, the band, until the lawn is established enough as so the seed won't wash away. So we need that seed to root really well all over, then we can put the sprinkler on, but not a minute before. So you've been warned. Don't email me if you do that, because there's nothing I can do for you. So let's start sheeting and get home, get some tea and sit down, because I'm getting tired. Right, it's about 9:45, Tuesday, 1st of June, sheeted, watered by hand, most important, watered by hand. Notice as well, I didn't put any pre-seed fertiliser on, there's no need. The seed has got Head Start coating on it, which is a biostimulant, which will get it up and running. There's enough energy in the seed, just because it's seed, that's what seeds do. You've got enough energy to get them to a certain point, and that's when the Bio Boost will come in. And that's the only thing that'll be going on, and possibly the compost tea if I can get a brew on and get it made. But for the next 7 to 10 days, covers will be on, watering every day, and then the big reveal probably weekend after next, something like that, and then we'll see how we get on. But everything's gone really well tonight. The wind dropped down enough so I could sheet this on my own, because it's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But yeah, really happy. Tired, so if I sound grumpy, it's because I am, and I'm hungry as well, and thirsty. So I'm going home, so I'm signing off, and I'll probably upload this tomorrow, which will be Wednesday the 2nd of June. So if you're already watching this, you won't need to know that information, because you'll already know it. So see you later.